Okay, hello everyone. Hope you've been going well. Hope you've been able to get your hands on Lurus uh, if you play the deck and have it online. Obviously, the actual set's not coming out for quite a while because the pre-release got delayed. Alright, so my latest ideas on the deck and the metagame is the creature ETB decks aren't that prevalent, but I think I'd still like Torporob somewhere in the list. Definitely does not justify a spot in the main deck, but somewhere in the list just because humans is an issue. So I've cut it down to 2 and I've put it in the sideboard. So my other thoughts were, hey look, this is great getting cards back from the graveyard, being able to reset, go hard. Let's reintroduce Sentinel's Eyes back into my list. I'll cut down the sideboard cards a little bit. So I've got 2 Suppression Field, 2 Path, and 2 Sentinel's Eyes in the main. If you remember my list from before, I had 3 Path and 3 Suppression Fields. So I've cut their numbers by 1 each, just to allow for me to fit Sentinel's Eyes in a meaningful number. Alright, so moving across onto my sideboard. So this was a little bit tricky. I made the cut on 1 Rest in Peace, mostly because I'm seeing a lot of Neoform. I think I've seen 2 or 3 decks since I've been playing with Lurus here, which is enough for me to want Cage more than Rest in Peace, and I haven't really seen that much Bant at all, or Control decks whatsoever. So sideboard, we're running the 1 Rest in Peace, the 3 Grafdigger's Cage, the 2 Torporob, the 1 Path, the 2 Tig, the 1 Lurus, the 2 Force, the 1 Seal, and the 3 Leyline. So that's what we're going with right now. My real hope is that Lurus plus Sentinel's Eyes plus get something else back. It's just, hopefully it's going to put us in a position where our opponents just can't keep up. Like, because if you take, for example, like a lot of decks will trade 1 for 1 with resources. Jund is like a massive example of this. It will trade 1 for 1 with your resources, and then when it gets to a stage where where the resources are depleted, they've just got these massive Tarmogoyfs they beat you up with, and now Crocs are Scavenging Ooze, things like that. So yeah, my basic idea is to hopefully put the deck in a position where it has so much game if you get wiped out that you can actually come back into it. Like we saw it against Tron and Eldrazi Tron in one of the 2 first leagues that I got into, and like just casting a Lurus just gave us enough to get there. Alright, so we are on the draw. We have to mulligan here because that hand is not good enough. This hand really isn't either, so we're going to have to get rid of that too, unfortunately. Alright, so we'll keep this one. We'll bottom... I reckon we'll bottom Windswept Heath and Suppression Field here, and we'll just keep the Sentinel's Eyes and Rancor, although those 2 cards have a really bad synergy with each other and trying to attack my opponent. Okay, Noble Hierarch, gotcha. I'm not aware of Ponza lists running Noble Hierarch. I think it's likely to be something else that is not Ponza. maybe a Bant deck or a combo deck, something funky. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I should know more about what my opponent's deck is from here, but pretty comfortable not fetching a basic from Forest into Noble Hierarch. Okay, it's Infect. This is bad. This is very bad. We are in a lot of trouble. If we get some first strike, we might be okay. Okay, so my opponent's got Inkmoth Nexus. So the best thing they can do is play land, animate Inkmoth Nexus. They've got 2 auras, so they've got enough to attack and win in the air. So we're not beating that. If we call Spirit Dancer, we can't win next turn. Although maybe just getting a massive core Spirit Dancer that can block an Inkmoth will be good enough. So I might just go with that. Hopefully we draw into land and Path to Exile. Just get a little bit of game. These Infect decks have also been running Lurus, or at least I think 2 of the 3 I've versed have been. Alright, so they've got land. If they've got scale up plus another pump spell, we lose. Unless that pump spell is Rancor. Or mutagenic growth. But I'm pretty sure we're just dead here. Here comes the scale up. The card that nobody asked to be printed. I'm pretty sure this deck is one of the reasons why Gitaxian Probe got banned in Modern. And they've just turned around and... Oh, is it Vines of Vastwood kicked? That would be fine. Okay, so we can still survive into next turn. We're only taking 6 here. My opponent didn't fetch a blue source, although they have got it on the Noble Hierarch, so Distortion Strike could still come into play. Alright, we blank on land, we blank on removal. That's not great. Alright, we do get a land for the Rancor now, which of course we're going to deploy. Maybe just having a massive blocker that's flying with Vigilance will be good enough here. So we can attack with both creatures. Come on, show me a path or something. We got the second Rancor. Attack with both creatures. We'll put our opponent down to what, 7? 7. And next turn we'll have lethal. So we just have to survive until then. As long as they don't have Distortion Strike or Apostle's Blessing, we'll be okay. Yeah, it looks like Infect has made a massive resurgence. So this is our 26th game and we've seen it, I think this is the 4th time. Yeah, so this will be the 4th time playing Infect. Alright, so it doesn't look like they've got Distortion Strike, or they would have just jammed it and attacked by now. They'd have lethal with the Exalted triggers. So Core Spirit Dancer will get shrunk a little bit here because we don't have First Strike. So it gets shrunk by 5, but we can still deal lethal. He's got the pump spell. We might just kill Core here. Okay. Well, that's not enough. So let's play this Rancor, which gives us lethal. We don't need to show anything else. Okay, cool. So, going to sideboarding, we want the Path to Exiles, we want the Enchantment and Artifact Destruction because Spell Scout. Suppression Field's probably not too bad. Core Spirit Dance is probably a little slow, although it was good then. But that was because our opponent had a slower Inkmoth hand. I don't think we want anything else sideboard-wise, so it's just about what cuts to make. I think Vigilance is going to be very important. We could maybe trim on a Griffspoon and maybe another Core, maybe Dried Arbor. Dried Arbor doesn't seem great to me. We are on the draw, so trimming on a land wouldn't be horrendous. Maybe I should just trim the forest instead, just in case we need Dried Arbor as a chump blocker. Alright, let's go with that for now. Yeah, I really don't know what's happened to Infect, but it just does not seem nearly as scary to me as what it has been in the past. Like, we'd probably have like a 5% win rate in the past over the 3 games, and I've won 2 of my 3 games. Might be a bit hard to see with all of that in the way. won 2 of my 3 games, and on top of that, I'm up a game in this one, so it's not bad, not bad. I might just put that there, something like that. Make it all look a bit tidier. Alright, so. Alright, well, we've got a very capable hand here. We've got a Force of Vigor, which can answer a lot of what they're doing, so we'll keep this. Quite good against the turn 2 Spellscite. We don't currently have a green card to pitch to it though, which could be an issue. Alright, there's the Noble Hierarch. I'm not in a position where I think I want to fetch... Maybe I do want to fetch Dryad Arbor, because then I can throw Force to the Slippery Boggle. But then I just don't have a clock because I've got all white auras in hand. Alright, we just have to hope he doesn't have Spellscite, or hope to draw a green card or a path or something. Alright, that's Blighted Agent. Probably better for us at this stage that it's a Blighted Agent and not a Spellscite. Is my opponent going to attack for 1 or hold up Protection? Yeah, it looks like they're holding up Protection. I respect that. I respect that. Against Infect, there's no need to be precious with your life total. Let's just jam down these auras. Look to get in with 3 damage. I doubt that they're going to attack with both the Blighted Agent and the Ink Moth. I imagine it's just going to be the Ink Moth here. If we see a lot of Infect, could be an argument to bring Gut Shot into the list. 2 mana, kill their thing when they're tapped out, seems really good. Back when humans and like Ban Eldrazi and all of that was a thing, and Noble Hierarch was getting an absurd amount of play. I mean, even now that Pons is getting play, it's good against Arbor Elf. So like it's a real consideration that people could have, in my opinion at least. Second Blighted Agent. Has he got like no pump spells? All creatures? Interesting. Interesting that he tapped it off the Noble Hierarch and not off of the not off the breeding pool there. Alright, I think we attack. We don't need to freak out too much at the moment. We'll hold this path in response for when he goes for lethal. And we'll hope to draw some more removal or like a Daybreak Coroner or an Ethereal Armor in the meantime. So he gets more damage just attacking with 1 Blighted Agent. He's suiting up his Inkmoth Nexus as well. What is he doing? Is he attacking in the air and he's going to look to like combat trick us or something? Doesn't make any sense pumping the Inkmoth there because we've got a Slippery Boggle with flying. I think he's trying to bait me here, but why would he pump the Inkmoth Nexus pre-combat? Well, I'm snap blocking this. If he pumps it, we just get to path. We got first strike. We got nothing to be afraid of here. And if he pumps the Blighted Agent, we pass that. Very simple. Very simple. Next turn we'll also have mana to Force of Vigor the Inkmoth Nexus, but I don't think it's going to get to that. Maybe he didn't realise our creature had flying. But still, just using Pendelhaven on the creature, the Inkmoth, instead of a Blighted Agent doesn't make any sense to me. Really does not. Groundswell? Sure. Well, this is his turn, so... I mean, he's not going to have like a Force of Negation or something during his turn. If we only take 2 Infect here, that's great. He's got 3 cards left in hand. That's like super awkward. Alright, so let's play this Core Spirit Dancer. And we'll drop this Temple Garden down, and there's no way for us to bluff a Path to Exile there. That could be something to consider when you're versing an Infect deck, is to sequence your lands so that when Temple Garden comes down, you can shock it and make it look like you've got the removal. Because your life total is never going to matter against Infect, right? And then they've got to respect it if they're good. Unless they can't respect it. And this is just super not being scary. Even if we lose this game, like, where's the explosiveness? This is so slow. So slow. Alright, he could be rage tanking or something at the moment. I'm not really sure. There's the Blossoming Defense. Personally, I would have used Pendelhaven on it first, or in response, or something. It's the same amount of damage if he attacks with both Blighted Agents, or one. Or I guess if he attacks with both, he can pump the other one and do 5. Which is 1 off of lethal. Alright, so it looks like he's got it. That's fine. We weren't getting there. Maybe not blocking the Inkmoth Nexus was correct, because then we could have saved our path for when he went all in the turn after, the following turn. I think I like Suppression Field way less on the draw. It is good because of Spellskite and their fetch lands and all of that, but because they have Noble Hierarch, they can pay for their fetches a lot easier. Maybe it's just bad and we shouldn't have brought it in. I don't know. Select Lurus as our commander. Okay, this is pretty bad. I thought it looked good, and then I realized we had 0 auras. So let's send this one back. This one has no creatures or way to get creatures. So this will do. We'll keep this. We'll bottom a Griffspoon. We'll bottom a Temple, a Windswept Teeth. Done. Yeah. Hopefully we can find that removal spell. Would be really nice. It'd be super awkward if he has Spellskite on his turn too. Serum Visions. I've seen the deck play Sleight of Hand, but I haven't seen it play Serum Visions before. Because sleight of hand makes more sense, because even though it doesn't dig your card deeper, what it does is it allows you to have access to one of the top 2 cards that very turn. So it digs you 1 card less deep, but you get the card you want out of those 2 cards, as opposed to this one, which draws you a random. Then you get 2 scries, and then the following turn you'll potentially draw what you scried. Alright, so Seal of Primordium's good. It does give us that protection for if he does cast Spellskite, or if he casts Ichloromir, the 2-mana Infect artifact creature. I don't think this one's got it because he's got the Blighted Agents, and it would seem weird for him to have both. Opponent's super slow rolling here. Alright, we get the Daybreak Coronet there, so that's nice. Opponent might have a Spell Pierce here that he's contemplating casting. Second Daybreak. Less good, but see if we can draw a land here. And if it's a Temple Garden, like 100% just shock it in. Alright, so there's the Spell Pierce. We can't pay for that. We can get it back with Lurrus later on though. So that's pretty nice. The fact he's spending that on countering an Ethereal Armor instead of countering a Path, I think is pretty poor. I don't really agree with that. There's a nice wacky interaction with this as well, where Pendelhaven plus Distortion Strike on the Noble Hierarch means you can use the Pendelhaven on the Noble Hierarch, so that's pretty nice. Alright, so here we can just cast the Daybreak Coronet. He can attempt to counter it, but it won't be a legal target to redirect to, so it will just resolve on core as normal. And we don't need to worry about running out Seal of Primordium just yet. What's he doing? Paying Vines of Vastwood. Does that work? No, it does not work. Okay, cool. So we got our Daybreak down. Wait, no. Oh, okay, it did work. Alright. We didn't get our Daybreak down. We can attack for 3. Our opponent's not done anything threatening whatsoever yet. Next turn, if we resolve a Daybreak Coronet, we're attacking for 8. So we've got him on a 2-turn clock from where he is now. Interesting that Vines worked. I didn't think that it would. Which can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control this turn. Because I would have thought that would have been like Core Spirit Dancer's opponents, or my opponents, as the controller of Core Spirit Dancer. Apparently not. I think I had it explained to me that way by a judge, even. So, I guess the wording's a little bit tricky, because I did used to play this deck. and against the deck as well. Alright. So we might just have lethal here. Each of these are 5, plus we have 8, so we have 12 damage here. Sorry, 13 damage here. So we do have lethal. As long as both resolve. Alright, so it looks like the first one's resolving. He could have another Spell Pierce. If he does, I'm not super concerned. The number of cards in his hand will be getting pretty low then. Then he has to activate Inkmoth, activate Pendelhaven, attack, and then he has enough mana for 1 pump spell after that. This Seal of Primordium would have been way better here as a Force of Vigor, because we could blow up both Inkmoth and Spellskite in that scenario. So we do have lethal though. He might Nature's Claim something. If he had Nature's Claim, he should have cast it on Grifspoon in response to the second Daybreak Coronet. I would have lost all 3 auras. My opponent went, lol, and I just told him I'm very surprised to be ahead this matchup, because that's quite the truth. At least he knew the interaction between Spellskite and Daybreak Coronet. Props to him on that. So now he's lost his Infect creature. Obviously, the Daybreaks here have been very strong. Alright, well, we got the game there. We got the win against Infect. That's our third win against Infect. Not too shabby at all, really. I'm pretty happy about that. Looks like I didn't update my win rate from the end of the last league. So I'll have to do that now, obviously. I didn't start the league with a 3-2 record. That's a little bit incorrect. Alrighty, that's all updated there. We'll hit play for our next league match. We'll bring up our calculator here. Because maths is hard, right? Well, no, not maths. Percentages are hard once they get past, like, 5 or 10 numbers. At least in my opinion. Alright, so we've got 18 out of 26. So that gives us a 69% win rate. Very nice. Perhaps a better win rate than 70%. Right? My delivery was awful then. Alright, so we can keep this. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Opponent looks like he's also got a Luris. Wonder if he's on the same thing that we are. Windswept Heath and Luris. I mean, hopefully he's not, because we haven't got Daybreak or Evasiveness or Trample, and our hand doesn't look too good for the matchup. Temple Garden, is this the mirror? Oh, it's Zoo. Okay, never mind. Boring. This matchup should be fine. Got to be probably a little bit careful of like Gorklan Rampager. I think there's a Nyacat Tribal or something. I was watching a streamer on Twitch playing Nyacat Tribal that has come out since Luris is a card. Oh wait, no, because that couldn't have Luris because it had 3 mana creatures in it. Grimflayer. So this is another Delerium deck by the looks of things. Which is fine, because we're not too badly placed here, honestly. So I don't think my opponent's going to kill me this turn. If I go Core Spirit Dancer there, it just dies to way too many different types of removal. And then I'm way too far behind to ever realistically win the game. So I think just be a bit patient there. Don't play the Core Spirit Dancer into a black-red deck. So this is 4 color so far, no 5th. Lingering Souls. Interesting. Alright, so the fact he did that pre-combat means that he can't attack. If he did that post-combat, we could have attacked then. He could have attacked then, sorry. Alright, so since it's a Totem Armor effect, we'll get it straight down on Core Spirit Dancer. Just get that protection happening. We'll get the card draw there. So now it needs to eat 2 removal spells, if that's what my opponent's planning. Or if that's what he's got left in his hand. Plus it pumps up the Slippery Boggle to a 5/5. Grimflayer and Lingering Souls in the same hand is pretty nice. Alright, our opponent blanks here on our hand. So now we know he's got Inquisition of Kozilek, potentially Thoughtseize. Pumping up that Hex Drinker, interesting. Interesting. Hopefully we draw an aura here. Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and cast that on Core Spirit Dancer. Core Spirit Dancer has the ability to get way bigger than Bogle does. Okay, so we blank there on an aura, so we can cycle this Horizon Canopy. Alright, now we can play the Ethereal Armor and attack for what I'm only assuming is lethal. I can only assume that. Alright. Cool. Attack for 21. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Alright, so opponent is a Delerium deck, so this Rest in Peace is going to be pretty good. I don't love these Path to Exiles. We'll need the Ley Lines, which will invalidate Lurrus. I'm not sure if Lurrus is worthwhile sideboarding in, because you could like sort of run it in that Unflinching Courage slot. But yeah, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. Not against the Delerium deck. So what can we take out? We can take out one core maybe. Suppression Field might also be a bit weak, although we did see he's running 4 colors, so he's going to be quite heavy on the fetch lands. And also we saw the Hex Drinker. Is that what it's called? The 1 mana level up card. I might just remove a Griff Spoon here because it loses power against Lingering Souls. It's nice evasiveness, but Lingering Souls is strong. Alright, well, we can't keep this. Opponent mulligan to 6. Yeah, we'll keep this. I'll probably bottom the Suppression Field this hand, or maybe a Rancor. Don't want to bottom the creature. I've been caught out that way before. Alright, let's get rid of Rancor. We can always get it back, our other Rancor back later with Lurrus. Oh wait, no, we don't have Lurrus this game because we brought in Leyline. Alright, hopefully it's just a Wild Nacatl. Blood Crypt doesn't look too good for us. Hopefully he's just got the 1 removal spell. Mish's Bobble. Alright. It's a pretty nice synergy right there. He gets to see what our next card is, and he has perfect information on what to take. So if this next card was Slippery Boggle, he might take the Core Spirit Dancer or the Rancor instead now, or the Hyena Umbra. Or the Suppression Field, like any of our other cards he might take. Alright, so I'm guessing our top card is not Slippery Boggle. Alright. So blank on land, blank on our 1 mana creature. Not looking too great this game. We do have game 3, but this game definitely is not over yet. There's the Grim Player. Alright, so if we draw land, we blank on land. Come on, man. That's frustrating. Very frustrating. Now our opponent gets to sculpt his Delerium as well. Get a 4/4 creature. See, been to Tarmogoyf and anything else? No, just a Tarmogoyf. Well, he's 5 color. Oh, okay. Did not expect that. And he's got Lurrus in the main deck. Okay. Alright, we draw a guy. So we're back in it now. We're not. This game's not over yet. Tribal Flames, I'm pretty sure is a card he will be playing. That is a 2 mana red instant, red and 1, which deals damage to your opponent equal to the number of different land types you have, or like out of plains, forest, mountain, and swamp, and island. Yeah, so that's what that card does. Let's see what our opponent does here. Alright, he's attacking. He's shocked in another land. That's quite interesting. Has he just got the double Tribal Flames to kill us here? Alright, another Mish's Bobble trigger, and far out. We're just, we're not getting anything this game, are we? Alright, so at the very least we can block the Lurrus, and take 7. And and then if we draw exactly Razorverge Thicket or Plains, we can attack with a Daybreak Coronet, but that only works if our opponent doesn't have an Abrupt Decay or an Assassin's Trophy. Interesting. So we can either block the Lurus or the Grimflayer here. If we block the Grimflayer, he can sculpt his Delirium again. If we block the Lurus, we take 1 less damage, which means that we can cast our auras. So Lurus and Mish's Bobble seems like a reasonable combination. Okie dokie. Land. Alright, well, we just lose this game because we didn't draw land. We did draw the Hexproof Creature though, but getting land screwed, very frustrating. Okay, so it's just got lifelink. That's its only stat. Might take out the second Griffspoon, leaving Core Spirit Dance, leaving the Rest in Peace and the Suppression Fields. I really think that a 5-color deck is something that you can very easily land screw with Suppression Field. Alright, so this isn't great. It doesn't have our ley line. It doesn't have to protect us from discard. It doesn't have a totem armor effect for our creatures. I think we got to ship that. This is looking better, but we don't have a green source that comes into play, so I think we got to ship this too. And this will do. We'll get rid of Suppression Field and Core Spirit Dancer. Maybe it's Griffspoon and Core Spirit Dancer. Core Spirit Dancer's going. Maybe it's Rancor. Now let's it's just so strong if he gets land screwed. Let's get rid of the Rancor. At least with Griffspoon we can attack in the air if we don't draw our second land. I really just want to be absolutely rude and just slam Suppression Field on turn 2 and just screw his game. Super risky, I know, but not that risky against a 5-color deck, but yeah, you know. Mish's Bobble targeting me. Looks like he might have the discard spell. Kind of frustrating playing against decks that pull your hand to pieces when you've got a lot of one cards. A lot of one-off cards. Hopefully Suppression Field's just so strong here that he can take that, and then we can... Okay. I'm guessing we do not have land on top of our library, because he wouldn't leave himself to be landlocked, would he? Fucking useless card here. Fucking useless. Talk about your most useless cards you could possibly freaking draw into. And Suppression Field, that would have got them there. Absolutely, it would have got them there. Alright, well, let's jam this Suppression Field now. It's a little bit late. I'm guessing he's got like a turn 3 Lingering Souls from the fact he didn't do anything on turn 2. There's the Wild Nicatl. And the Suppression Field will turn off that Hyena, the Wooded Foothills. We draw Hyena Umbra. Alright, so that's not too bad. Next turn we can start loading up a Daybreak Coronet and attacking. If we draw another Aura, we can wait an extra turn to cast Daybreak Coronet to give us protection against an Abrupt Decay. If he doesn't attack here, it is a massive tell that he's got Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, so this is 100% Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy, so cast this Rancor first. We're not attacking here, because if we attack here, it removes the Hyena Umbra, blocks our creature. Not happening. Not happening. This will give him a free fetch, but I don't care. I need my creature intact. Next turn we can cast Suppression, cast Daybreak Coronet, attack. He will probably destroy the Daybreak Coronet, but then at least we'll still have a 4/2 First Strike Trampler. Really? You're playing a Grimflayer? White, black. Okay, Lingering Souls. If all he's got is Lingering Souls, we are in good shape all of a sudden. Alright, Lurrus. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care about that either. Gets back Misha's Bubble, looks at what we're drawing. That's fine. I'm not that fussed about that. Looks like he's pretty land flooded. Alright, jam. Jam this Daybreak, get that attack in. Put some pressure on our opponent here. It costs 2 mana for him to activate that Bobble as well. So yeah, we could just have our opponent dead here next turn. We have 7 and Trample. Any aura off the top would be a massive shore up to victory. Land would also work us towards Griffspoon as well. Alright, so he's actually paid to cycle the Bobble there, which means that, okay, he's just drawing dead. So we got another win against a Delerium deck, so that's really nice. Pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about that indeed. So maybe I'll just remove this Sultai and I'll just have Delerium as a category. And that's 19 from 27. So that puts us back up to 70.3 or 70.4. We're at this 70% win rate again. That's a fantastic win rate. Pretty happy about that. Pretty happy indeed. Alright, so we've got our companion here. We are on the draw. This is a perfectly keepable hand. This is a very good hand. Alright, so they're targeting themselves with the Bobble. Could be Death Shadow. The fact they're targeting themselves. Alright, we draw the Razorverge Thicket, so we'll lead off with the Painless Land. Seems good. Seems good. If this is Death Shadow, we have the Griffspoon and we have the Flying, so that's going to be really good, having Flying to get our opponent with. Alright, so they're shocking into that. See if they've got a Lightning Bolt or something. It's almost certainly Death Shadow, just shocking. Alright. Sure. So let's cast the Ethereal Armor. I'll play my planes. I'll cast the Ethereal Armor, and then hopefully he leaves, if he's got Stubborn Denial, leaves it for the Griffspoon. Alright. Looks like it's Mardu. Okay. So as long as there's no Captain Ranger of Eos locking us off Daybreak Coronet here, we can just jam that and probably kill our opponent without him having much of an answer. Alright. Well, he's almost certainly not going to sacrifice that to stop us from casting Daybreak. So I think we're pretty good. Okay, he did. Wow. Didn't expect that. Alright, so let's just play the Dryad Arbor, and then we'll play out our core Spirit Dancer, and we'll cause a big issue for him next turn. He's got 2 extra creatures to look to answer. And we can still cast Daybreak plus Hyena Umbra next turn. So you got the discard effect, Death Shadow. There's the Fatal Push. Okay, so this should just be lethal. We got the flying, we got the ethereal armor. We don't even need to show him the Daybreak Coronet. Yeah, turn 3 get Captain Ranger of Eos is not where you want to be. That's not quite good enough against our deck. Alright, so we want the path, we want the ley line. The suppression fields are going to be somewhat useful. The core Spirit Dance is going to be pretty weak. I'm thinking at least 3 core Spirit Dances out here. Gristbone's excellent in this matchup. If anything, we're removing probably a Spider Umbra. Alright, I'm going to leave the deck like that, run off to the bathroom quickly. Okay, so I think there was a deck which was returning, like a Mardu deck that was returning them Death Shadow from the graveyard to the field, or the Captain Ranger of Eos. I think it was either Colligan's Command or like an Entomb or something. There could be an argument for Rest in Peace, but we haven't seen that they've got that yet, so I think we'll just run with what we've got here as a list. Well, no. Alright, this is like a hard yes. This is very good hand. I feel like we have to bottom a land here. So I'm going to get rid of Horizon Canopy. Just because it would deal more damage to us overall. And shuffling a land, and we want to draw a land here. So yeah, shuffling a land back into our library instead of knowing that it's on the bottom. It's going to be perfectly good. Alright, looks like he's done a Mishu's Bubble activation on us. So he saw the Razorverge Thicket, I think. He did it during our turn instead of his own, which is a bit odd. Maybe he wanted to see what our next card is because he's got like double discard or something. Wow, what is... He just bricked. Alright, whatever. Let's jam our auras. We'll go with planes here. Protect our life total a bit. This is a matchup where protecting your life total is important. So yep. Jam, attack. And he's bricked on the land another time. That feels bad. That's a really like defeating way to play is when you just don't draw your land source. Alright, might as well play around something wacky like Blood Moon. Get our other Glade Cover Scout out there. Alright. So that was pretty good. Flying is good against Death Shadow. In case you guys didn't know. That is the message. I messed up my... So it should be 20. I don't know what I was doing there. Alright, so not 12, 20. Divided by 28. Gives us 71.4. So yeah, the deck seems to be putting some performances in there for us. That's now I know what I did. I'm used to only correcting one number when I do that, where I had to correct 2. So just hit the backspace on the 9 and hit the 2 in because my brain's clearly not working properly right now. So yeah, overall, I think adding the Sentinels mark back in has helped the deck a little bit. It was good against Infect. It was good against Delerium. So that's something to consider, just running it as a 2-of again. I'm pretty happy with the list, like in the main deck. I'm not very happy with the sideboard, but because it's such an open field at the moment, it's just really hard to narrow it into like a direction, like what I actually like to do. I mean, maybe the Torpor Obs are just greedy, and I can, add an extra Rest in Peace, an extra Force, and we're good. Bob's your uncle at that point, or an extra ley line. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm seeing. I did see a lot of decks where Torpor Obs are at least applicable. Okay, so 4th match. Let's see how we go. Looks like we lost the die roll. Our opponent has chosen to play first. We've got our Lurrus here. Lurrus is our friend. This hand is not our friend. Get rid of that. Alright, we'll keep this hand. We'll bottom the Temple Garden. We kind of want the Core Spirit Dancer in a lot of cases, and we also want to play around Ponza as well. Alright, looks like it's Neoform, or Allosaurus combo. Alright, so there's no need to slow roll the shock there. We can just go straight out and do it. And if we lose this matchup, it's because, like, this game here, it's because our opponent's deck is inconsistent, not because we've got any sort of hate piece going. Now, I think Devil is actually one of the players that normally tops the leaderboards, if I'm right. Can't see. So the insane something or other we versed the other day is not Infano or whatever that's supposed to be, which is the one I was referring to. I can't see him on the leaderboards here, but I'm pretty sure normally he tops it. Alright, let's shock in that Temple Garden. We'll get our Core Spirit Dancer down, and then next turn we can look to get a lot of draws off of Core Spirit Dancer. I don't think we'll have lethal damage, but if we can put them in a position where they're not able to activate their Gristlebrand at all, then we're probably in a good spot to win after that. So preferably I'm going to see Aura on top of my library here. And even if I don't, I'm just tempted to cast the Rancor without casting the second Core Spirit Dancer. I know seeing 2 cards is better than seeing 1, but we need to pressure that life total this turn, and 1 Rancor is just not going to do it. Like, this game's already gone on long enough, considering what we're versing. So you got another Serum Visions. Alright, here comes the Allosaurus Rider. I guess he's gonna go for what he needs to go for now. And we can open up a game of checkers or chess or something somewhere and just ignore what he's doing. I can't believe Wizards would still let this be a deck. Like, I get it's not that brokenly consistent and all of that, but who would argue that this is good for the metagame? Sitting here like this. At least with the old Gristle Shoal, the red-black one, they interacted with their opponents via discard, and then they had to either cycle through their deck with Faithless Lootings and Cathartic Reunions and all of that to try and find their combo. Like, this deck is just, it just has the combo cast a Neoform, like has the Allosaurus Rider, cast a Neoform, Gristlebrand's out, Bob's your uncle. Like, there's way less interaction. Alright, maybe they don't have the Nourishing Shell here if they're putting a second Allosaurus Rider on the board. They're going to look to kill us the old-fashioned way. In which case, we can actually just deal lethal damage through Core Spirit Dancer. Alright, we drew the Aura. That's really, really good. We'll lead on Rancor. Okay, we do need to draw another Aura here. We blank on it? Really? Oh my god. That is so sad. How? Man, because if we have that Aura, we just attack and they need a block with Gristlebrand. Like, and then they're in so much trouble if they need a block with Gristlebrand. Now they're going to get to attack with Gristlebrand, draw another 7, so they've seen an extra 8 cards to find their Nourishing Shoals. We're almost certainly dead now. Be absurdly surprised if he didn't just get comboed here. Maybe he's just not got it. Summoner's Pact. Unless he's got land as well, he can't pay for that next turn. So I guess that's a sign that he's got the Nourishing Shell. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're super dead unless he messes up, or his deck is just strangely has Lab Maniac on the last card of his library and he can't get to it or something. Because, yeah, he's got 27 cards here. He's certainly got the second Nourishing Shoal. His one of Lab Maniac might be a bit harder for him to have. If he uses the first Gemstone Mine for mana here, it will fall off and he can't pay for his Summoner's Pack next turn. Alright, well, we just lose. It's great that I felt like I had a game. I mean, not really, but hey. So we'll bring in these Gadok Tigs. They're really good against the Nourishing Shell. And, of course, the Graph Digger's Cage is just really good against his other thing. Is searching the library with Neoform and Eldritch Evolution. So probably something like 2 Core, 2 Sentinel's Eyes out. I don't think Vigilance will be that important. Although maybe it's... No, Spider Umbra, we want it for Reach, for in case we need a block. Maybe it's Hyena Umbra over the Sentinel's Eyes. And... So this isn't too bad. We've got 6 hate cards and 2 paths here. It's not a horrible place to be in. There's no hate card there, but this is a good hand otherwise. I think we keep. Try to get his life total so low that he can't properly go off. And if he has a quick hand, then just whatever. Alright, it looks like our opponent's going to have a quick hand. He just revealed Chancellor of the Tangle. Hopefully it's an Eldritch Evolution hand and not a Neoform hand, and it will take him a turn longer to go off. If not, we just didn't have a game. Interesting he went for green-green there instead of green-blue. Normally they go for green-blue if they've got Neoform. He could still have like a Eldritch Evolution and a Simian Spirit Guide though. Alright, we do get another turn. And we can do a little bit of damage to our opponent here. Not a lot, only 4. If it is Eldritch Evolution, we will have a 7/7 first striker to his 7/7, and both will be flying. So if we get our next turn, and the best he can do is Gristlebrand on board and not much else, we can kill his Gristlebrand. Alright, why is he tanking? So he got like force of negation here. Alright, maybe it's just GC or going to the toilet or something. AFK, I don't know. Alright, so he might be a turn later again. Alright, looks like he's got the Neoform now. He's got the pieces. He's got the Gristlebrand. Hopefully he doesn't get it. I mean, what can I say? Like, we can't do anything against this. For fuck's sake. What a stupid deck. What a stupid deck. Come on, Wizards. You're better than this. Why are you letting this be a thing? Turn 2. Opposition loses. Turn 2. It can do this on turn 1. I get it's not amazingly consistent, and it loses really hard to anyone that runs counter spells, but like there's so many players out there in the field that don't play counter decks, like spells with counter decks with counter spells, and they just get boned every time. It's not a good healthy deck for any kind of metagame. I don't care what Wizards think. They're just wrong. Alright, as he got it. Trey, Simian, Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, Lab Maniac. He's still got 7 cards in his deck, so there's the last Nourishing Shell. If he draws this, he'll go to 0 cards in deck, which means he'll guarantee have his Lab Maniac. So I think he's now just shuffling through cards. And yeah, fun game. I really enjoyed that. I hope this deck continues to be a thing. It's super healthy for everything. It's great deck to have. Yeah, and people might get a bit salty about that coming from Bogles player or whatever, but you know, we lose to so much. We get way worse of a rap than what we deserve. And you know, I just don't really care for the criticism. So it's 68.9% now. We're back to 69%. Alright, and where's our Neoform deck? So that's 3 losses against Neoform, alright? And that's 3 losses. This is our 3rd league, so this is going to be 30 matches by the time we play this next one. So that's 1 in 10 matches is against it for me so far. It's relatively common, to be honest. I recognize the name Scene Kid. I'm not sure where from. He's won the die roll, which sucks. We got a Boggle hand though. So, you know, touch wood here. I'm going to keep this. Oh, opponent's got a companion. Oh, fuck, not this deck. Fuck off. Well, we got Torpor Orb now, so we actually have a sideboard for it. Kind of. And we can turn to this suppression field and look to get their lands. I'm not sure it's going to be better than just jamming auras and attacking. We have Lurus to potentially load up back up on later game. Yorion Sky of Jerk. Sky Nomad. I definitely prefer the title Sky Jerk instead, because if people are playing this deck because that companion is a card, then I'm not happy about that companion. Okay, there goes the Prismatic Vista. So you're going to cast like a Blood Moon here. Eternal Witness, that's fine. Alright, so if he's going sort of slower like that, then the Suppression Field might actually be okay here. Alternatively, we could just get the beats. We could just start beating him. And I think that's probably better than mucking about, trying to interact with what he's doing. Especially on the draw. When he's got Noble Hierarch. I know he returned a Prismatic Vista. That's not guaranteed to be his only land. And even if it was to be guaranteed to be his only land, I think being aggressive is probably just better. If we can get a stage where we can return one or a turn with Lurrus as well, it's going to be pretty good. 4 mana. What's he casting? Avalanche Riders. Destroy target land. Well, that's not going to get us. Yikes. That's kind of scary, though. Just the fact that that's in the deck. Alright, well, let's keep hold of our green source for now. We'll get this Daybreak Coronet down. It deals 1 less damage than the Ethereal Armor, but hey, we gain some life. I like gaining life. Opponent's got to pay the Echo. Avalanche Riders goes kaput. Is that any land or is that a non-basic? It's any land. Okay. So it looks like we got there. He didn't draw the half of his deck, which destroyed our stuff, so that was good. Let's bring in these Torpor Orbs. Probably Cage as well. I'm not sure if Cage is good, actually. I know Rest in Peace will be good. I don't think Cage will be good. Path will be okay. Of course, Spirit Dancer will be okay, but not great. Suppression Field on the draw might be a bit weak. Stake out, of course, Spirit Dancer and the Suppression Fields. We just don't want our opponent to be at a stage where he's flickering his, like, Night of Autumn, because that will put us in a really bad time. So we want the path to sort of interact with that a little bit. Well, this isn't too bad, but if they've got Avalanche Riders, it's kind of bad. I think I'm happy to risk him having Avalanche Riders for the upside of this hand. Like, it's still okay against Blood Moon too, don't forget. Alright, that's not really what we want to draw. Alright, there's the coiling Oracle. So we'll just yield to the next end step. Arkham's Astrolabe. Yikes, this deck is so running Blood Moon. Our deck seems insistent to just give us land drop. Our opponent has missed land drops, so that's kind of good for us though. So we'll attack for 2. Post-combat, we'll play this Rancor. I love this interaction. What a niche little interaction. Makes me feel so much better about going in on Dryad Arbor when I can get a little attack in for 2 on turn 2. Alright, so we did draw a land, Soul Herder. That's going to start exiling this Coiling Oracle and pumping the Soul Herder. I don't so much care about the Coiling Oracle. I care about all the Soul Herder at this point. I care about Knight of Autumn. Restoration Angel. Yikes. This deck is going deep. Alright, excellent. We got the Spider Umbra, so we can get some Totem Armor on our Dryad Arbor post-combat. The fact that he's not got any of his Knight of Autumns or Deputy of Detentions yet, so we're actually in a pretty okay spot. As long as we don't get Deputied here, we're pretty good. Even against Knight of Autumn. We're good against Knight of Autumn. It's just Deputy we're dodging. Yeah, this seems alright. I think we're okay here, which is very surprising considering my run I had last time I versed this deck. Alright, well there's the Ice Fang. It doesn't really do much. We're like 1 aura away from having lethal as well. Taking 3 damage, it doesn't really matter, and then he'll get an exile effect and a draw effect. And obviously we can't block here. We'll see what gets revealed. Oh, he's got a Yorion in hand as well. Okay. Oh no, that was revealed as a companion. Huntmaster of the Fells. Alright, so we can't do too much here other than attack. But, you know, we're getting our opponent low. He's only on 9. He has to do something soon. And now we've got the Slippery Boggle to reload onto. Should our opponent manage to Deputy our Dryad Arbor. Which is pretty relevant. Because then we've got a lot of land here. We can use Luris to start putting those auras on the Slippery Boggle. So we have game against Deputy of Detention now, which is fantastic. What? That is so lame. Skip my combat phase. You dog. Oh no, he can do that every turn now. Well, we can draw to removal, so it's not over. Skip their next combat phase. What a joke. Oh my goodness. Show me path. That will do also. That is an excellent, excellent card here. Alright, Torporob coming on down, coming on in to bring the hurt. No more Stonehorn Dignitary. What a janky card. Oh my goodness. Oof. Top deck gods were good to us just then. Yeah. Opponent said nice one and conceded. I was going to say definitely a nice draw that I had because it was. But yeah, I mean, that could well be one of the reasons why you want to be sporting Torporob at the moment. I mean, it was very good then for us. Maybe it's Maybe it's just a little bit too greedy sideboard wise, but it was good there. It was very good there. So that should bring us back up to around 70%, I assume. Maybe a little bit higher. Okay, exactly 70%. Pretty good, pretty good. Overall, I think I was happy with the list. I think I'm happy with the sideboard at the moment. I'm not super happy with Seal of Primordium. I think maybe I should just take it out and put in another Force of Vigor. Or another Rest in Peace or something. I'm going to have a think on this Seal of Primordium. I think it's coming out for something. I'm just not sure what. Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the deck and the list. I think this is closer to where we want to be in this sort of metagame, and in a metagame where you've got Lurrus as well, like where that's in your 75 and Leyline's in your sideboard. I think Sentinel's Eyes is good to have in the deck as far as resilience. It adds that extra resilience on top of Lurrus, on top of your Rancors, on top of your Grisburn. Like, your opponent might wipe your board out, and then you just have so many more tools to just rebuild it back up. I'm really seeing that as a possibility with Lurrus now being a card. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you if you watched to the end. Please let me know what you're thinking of the current list. And yeah, I plan to continue doing just full leagues for this first week. Just get the content out there, really break in Lurrus and just test how good it is. My first league video that went up got like 30 views in 24 hours. Which is much more than my other recent videos have had, which have been, you know, like 6 to like 13 or something. But yeah, like people are keen to see this card in action, see if it's any good. And so far I've been pretty impressed. Like, it's one sideboard slot, and it just gives you so much assurance in a variety of different matchups. But yeah, we'll cut this one there. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next video, guys. Toodaloo.